known, and we will not stop making it known that we will not stand for this. Every single person across this entire country, if you are angry like me and everyone else that's out here today, do something! Now is the time to do something. We need every single person in this country who is just as mad as I am to get up, get in the
Disabled people across the United States will not stay silent. Now is the time to mobilize and fight back. We will be here, we will be in the streets, and God damn it, we'll be heard!
My name is Travis Morales, and I'm with RiseUpForAbortionRights.org. And you're in the right place at the right time. Why? Are we going to let this stand, the Supreme Court taking away the right to abortion? No! What did you say? No! I thought I heard, hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! Hell no! This Supreme Court decision is illegitimate. The Supreme Court decision must not stand. And RiseUpForAbortionRights.org is calling on people across the country to fill the streets in massive, non-violent, but determined resistance to force the federal government through our actions in the streets to legalize abortion on demand nationwide. And we will not stop until we win that. And right now, for over a week, almost 2 weeks now, Rise Up for Abortion Rights has been out in front of the Supreme Court every day with this message: overturn Roe, hell no. And we're putting out a call for people to go to D.C. tomorrow and Sunday. Be out in front of that Supreme Court. Be with the thousands of people who have been out there today demanding overturn Roe, hell no. Demanding the federal government legalize abortion all across this country. So go to RiseUpForAbortionRights.org. Sign up. Be part of the people out in front of the Supreme Court. Get in the streets. And while you're on the website, donate. We need thousands and tens of thousands of dollars to keep people out in front of the Supreme Court. For housing, for transportation, for food. Donate now. Pull out your cell phones. Pull out your cell phones and go to RiseUpForAbortionRights.org and donate. Now I want to introduce our next speaker. I'm very honored to introduce Carl Dix. Some of you may know him. Carl is a long-time member of the Revolutionary Communist Party and an advocate of the new communism of Bob Avakian. In 1972, Carl was, or maybe it was 71 or 70, he'll have to correct me on this. He was sent to prison in Leavenworth Military Penitentiary for 2 years. Why? Because he said, fuck no, I'm not going to go fight in Vietnam. And he refused his orders from the U.S. Army to go and fight in Vietnam. Some of you know Carl from the Stop Mass Incarceration Network when he and Brother Cornel West led a campaign of civil disobedience at some of the precincts, the NYPD precincts here in New York, to demand the overturning and stopping of stop and frisk. So I gave you Brother Carl Dix.
Okay. Now we got a few things to say. We got to get in the streets. We got to stay in the streets. But we got a few things to say here. Look, I love looking out at all you sisters and brothers and beautiful people. But we need to look at what happened today. What happened today is the fascists on the Supreme Court ruled that women are not fully human, that they are little more than incubators. That is what they declared. And we have to declare, hell no. We are not incubators. We are full human beings. We have to declare that for the women, for anybody who could get pregnant, and we have to mean it and act on it. We have to not only be here today demonstrating our outrage, we got to stay in the streets. There was something that a leader of the free speech movement said back when I was young. That's him. He said, sometimes the operation of the machine is so odious that we have no choice but to throw our bodies on the gears of that machine. Well, this is that moment. We have to act in that way to stop this. And let's be clear, we ain't gonna vote abortion rights back. In fact, we didn't get abortion rights through voting. It wasn't a vote, it was people in the streets raising hell. Black people didn't get the right to vote by voting for it. They got the right to vote by standing up, by protesting, by rising in rebellion. And that's what's needed now. And we got to dig deeper on this. Where is this shit coming from? Because they're not only going for the right to abortion, they're going for voting rights. They'll be going for LGBTQ rights next. They'll be going for birth control. All of this is part of a fascist program that one section of the ruling class, the Republicans grouped around Trump, the big fascists, are enforcing on people. And they got the initiative. And at the same time, the Democrats, another imperialist power, have no answer. We can't rely on them to take care of this for us. We have to act on this ourselves. We need determined, ongoing resistance, and we need more than that. We need a revolution. Millions of people need to be mobilized to overthrow the system that has brought all these horrors down. That's what we need to be building for. We need to be building for that right now. Now, some people will tell you, Carl must be smoking something. There's no way we could really make a revolution. Well, those people are wrong. Because the very way this system works compels millions of people to act in outrage against it, to be furious with it. But that outrage and that fury has got to be given expression both in terms of the ongoing determined resistance, but we got to build a movement for an actual revolution. And this is the time, because what's going on right now actually is showing the vulnerability of this system, weakening it, and making revolution more possible as they fight. The fighting at the top of the system is laying bare that you can't rely on the normal way the system works to do anything for people. We have to act for ourselves, but we also have to take up fighting to get rid of this system. And there is a force that is working on just that, a movement for an actual revolution led by the revolutionary leader Bob Avakian that I follow. He has developed a strategy and a plan and a roadmap for making that revolution. He has authored a constitution for a future socialist republic in North America, a blueprint for the kind of society we can bring into being after we get rid of this fucked up one through revolution. So, as we get ready to move into the streets and stay in the streets, you also got to get into this revolution. We've got a flyer organizing for an actual revolution. 7 key points. It's over there on that table over there. Get a copy of that. It's a capsulization of a talk that Avakian did. Something terrible or something truly emancipating. Get that talk. YouTube once a week, premieres on Thursday. Check out Revolution Books, because as we fight, we have to take up this revolution. Get with it. Spread the material from the revolution as you learn more about it. And look, we got to break with the things that stand in the way of us making revolution. You all out here, you got to take up spreading this message as you learn more about it. You got to break with the view that we can't do anything. We're powerless, and they got all the power. And look, we know they're powerful, but they ain't all powerful. We cannot sit back and let them do any fucking thing they want, because if they think that's the case, they will do every fucking thing they can do. We cannot let that go down. And we gotta look for and get with real scientific revolutionary leadership. We can't take an approach of, well, the leader has to be BIPOC, the leader has to be female, the leader has to be gendered in this way or that way. No, it's a question of what's the content of the ideas and programs. That's what we have to demand, and we have to take a scientific approach to that. Now, we gotta get into the streets. I'm not the one running the rally, but I'm sure the people behind me, the veterans of 14 years of life, or maybe as much as 17, they got a plan for getting into the street. We gotta actually get with that. And we also gotta give them props for, at this young age, being people who are organizing people to take to the street. And I've been around for a long time, but at 14, I wasn't doing what they were doing. I'm not going to tell you what I was doing at 14. It was kind of silly. You don't want to get into that. So here's the deal. Resistance, determined, massive, non-violent resistance at this point is what's needed. We can't just register that we don't like this and then go back to our normal lives, because that will bring horrors on all of us and all of humanity. That's what's needed, and we need a revolution. Get with the movement for an actual revolution. Not the church, not the state. Women must decide their fate. Not the church, not the state. Women must decide their fate. Not the church, not the state. Women must decide their fate.
All right, the Mobilization for Reproductive Justice just has two more very brief messages. Giselle Hearn from Christian Richardson Jordan, who's a New York Socialist, New York City Council member, and Jed Holtz from the Freedom Socialist Party. In the meantime, if you want to do the street action, to sit down in the street in a few minutes, go to the statue right behind me. There's a huddle happening that is being led by Betty and Elias. We want everyone who wants to participate to be a part of it. So right behind me at the statue, gather up. We want this to be a coordinated action. Mobilization for Reproductive Justice has been planning this for months. Again, we're a group of feminists.
Choice. So if she tell us I need an abortion, bitch, what? I got you, sis. Say it. I need an abortion.
Let's talk about the statistics showing the reports of crime and mental health in women who are denied abortion. But in contrast, the study found no mental health in women who had successful abortion. Lawmakers who want to force women to carry pregnancies to term called their
And remember who truly cares for the I just wanted to say women matter! Women matter! Women matter! Women matter!
Thank you. I'm going to keep it brief because I know you all, like me, want to hit the streets. And this is the beginning, not the end. Thank you. Those words are so important. My name's Jed. I'm the New York City organizer of the Freedom Socialist Party and endorser. Today, it's so awesome to see everyone hitting the streets. I want to give a shout out to all of you because you are the leaders today. You are the leaders of this movement. And we need to do it for ourselves. I'm here as a feminist man, but it's arbitrary because this ruling affects the majority of people in this country. It affects the majority of people in this country because women are the majority of people in this country. But that's right. And that is, and all every man, woman, and child and queer person is going to be affected by women and trans people losing the right to control their own body. This is happening when a capitalist system is in crisis and people are losing the rights to choose on so many fronts. We don't have the right to choose a secure life, a good job. We don't have the right to choose to save the planet under this system. And it's a part of what's happening wholesale across. This is why the system attacks women first, because who is on the front lines of all of those movements to fight back against the 1%, the ruling of the minority against the majority? Women and queer people. And what keeps, yeah, that's right. Let's hear for them. Women and queer people on the front lines of every movement. That's right. I'm not going to get dismal about this, but what would you do if you were them and you wanted to control that huge to roll back progress and control our bodies? But are we going to let them do that? No! Right. So this is about their attack on us, but it's pathetic in comparison to our strength as a majority of people in this country who have the most radical vision of the future. Queer and trans people can see the future, and that's why we need to get behind revolutionary movement beyond what exists, beyond the Democrats and all of the nonprofits. All the leadership that's going to want us to stay home, just vote, go back. But we're so much more powerful. Are we more powerful? That's right. See you there, and until we win back this and everything else. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose body? Our body. Whose body? Our body. That's right. Let's go.
Up here to see who's here.
And go to your Instagram page or your Twitter account, Facebook, however you communicate, and you tell people you messed up. You didn't come out here today. But you get a second chance. Tell them to be out here tomorrow, 2 o'clock, here at Union Square, 2 p.m. Saturday. Millions in the streets. That the federal government all across this country legalized abortion nationwide. Because we're not going to stop. This is not a one-off. We're not going home tonight and saying, oh, we did a good job. No. No. We out here tomorrow at 2 o'clock and tell them to go to Rise Up for the number 4, abortionrights.org to get connected. Now I want to introduce Anna. Now Anna is finishing up the 9th grade. She's one of the students who work for Rise Up for.
We are here to protect not only women's rights, but also minority rights. By Roe v. Wade being overturned, it does not only affect women, but also minorities, as Roe v. Wade has been used as a precedent to inspire and cause other minority rights to be legalized, and gay marriage and things like that. We need to overturn this ruling, as it will be detrimental to our country and women's rights. How do we live in a democracy? Saving babies, they're killing women!
Now our last speaker, before we head out, I want to introduce. Now you don't know her name. Her name is Rachel. But you may have seen her. A few weeks ago, 6 women ran out into the court the Minnesota Lynx. They ran out to the court during the game to demand overturn Roe. Hell no! To demand abortion on demand and without apology. I was there. I wasn't out on the court. And the fans stood up and gave them a standing ovation for daring to go out on that court. This went all over the country. Sports Illustrated, all kinds, Yahoo News, the Daily Mail in London, all reported on this. This was part of getting this out all across the country that people got to stand up. So I want to look at all the other women who put it on the line to run out on that basketball court. Here's Rachel.
Oh, is this thing on? It is on. Hello, everybody. My name's Rachel. How you doing? Yes, it was terrifying, but sometimes if something is scary and makes your heart beat fast, it means you absolutely have to do it. Like how all of you are here today, taking time and show the Supreme Court that we mean business. And here's the thing. It doesn't matter what you would do, because I tell myself if me and my boyfriend, whatever, we got pregnant, I would probably have the kid, you know? But how dare I tell somebody else what they would do with their body? Do you know what I'm saying? How dare I? How does anybody tell someone else what to do with their body if they're not financially able? And there's a separation of church and state in this country for a reason, and somehow that line has gotten very, very, very blurred these past few years. So, we are out here reminding people that there is a separation of church and state, and forced pregnancy is female enslavement, okay? It is. In one way or another, it is, okay? So, everyone, we're going to say this chant right now. We're going to, I think one more speaker, then we're going to walk, but we're going to abortion rights, for abortion rights, rise up! Rise up! For abortion rights, rise up! Yes, you're amazing! You're amazing! For being here, you should feel proud of yourself. You are amazing. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
now. That's what we need to start doing. We can organize this system if we have the will to, if we have the courage to. Because I can tell you right now, God damn it, we've got the fucking people. So I'm just gonna close saying this. You can do it, we can do it, we can win. We can change this whole thing, and we can actually have the things that we need in our country, like free health care. Like housing first. Yeah. Like, you know, not a police state that's overfunded, that doesn't work, that lets children die in a classroom for no reason. We can go ahead and cut that out, honestly. Yeah. We can have all of these things. Our country has the highest GDP in the world, apparently. According, well, that's what they tell us, right? We the biggest, baddest ones. So that means that we can get every fucking human right that we deserve then, yeah?
Democrat that we have in the United States House of Representatives.
notice. Access to human rights should not be decided by a handful of fucking people. And let's be clear that this is not just an issue for the GOP. Democratic leadership has had the opportunity multiple times over the past 50 years to codify Roe v. Wade. Every single Democrat that has ran for Congress has ran on the promise of codifying Roe v. Wade, and they did shit. Every year they tell us to vote for them. Fuck voting for somebody because they have a D next to their name or R next to their name. If every day my life is going to remain the same, if every day you're going to choose to compromise with people across the aisle instead of compromising with people that trusted you to protect them.
The people united will never be defeated. People united will never be defeated. The people united will never be divided. 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 The people united will never be divided.
Not the church, not the state. Women will decide their fate. Not the church, not the state. Women will decide their fate. Not the church, not the state. Women will decide their fate. Not the church, not the state. Women will decide their fate. Not the church, not the state. Women will decide their fate. Not the church, not the state. Women will decide their fate.
Church, not the state. Women will decide their fate. Abortion is healthcare. Healthcare is a right. 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 Healthcare is a right. Abortion is healthcare. Healthcare is a right. Abortion is healthcare. Healthcare is a right. Not the church, not the state. Women will decide our fate.
So this black maternal health crisis, we recognize as black bodies, as black women tending to this crisis, that we did not create. We have to understand that there are specific demands against power. And right now, it's not an issue of who is empowered. It's an issue of making sure they hear our demands. So it's time to yell for the bands. What's the first one? The first one is I want my A, B, abortion, right? Even if they, which they won't, put these speakers down, they should be loud as shit, right? We should hear it across 10 miles of D.C. So let's try it again. The demand is I want my A, B, I want my abortion, abortion. I want my A, B, I want my abortion, abortion. I want my A, B, I want my abortion.
My choice! My choice! My choice! My body! They don't get no peace! If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace! If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace! If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace! If we don't get no justice, then they don't. If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace! If we don't get no justice, then they don't get no peace! Shut it down! 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 This is what solidarity looks like! This is what solidarity looks like! This is what solidarity looks like! This is what solidarity. This is what solidarity looks like. 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 No cops, no KKK, no fascist USA. No cops, no. No fascist USA! No cops! No KKK! 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 No fascist USA!
Today, I am grateful for people like Governor Murphy and Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver, our local LD27 Senator Cody and Assemblyman McKeon, and none other than Assemblywoman Myla Jacey, a primary sponsor of the Freedom of Reproductive Choice Act. We must vote. As we head into the midterms, we must elect our new Congresswoman in the 11th District back to the House of Representatives, Mikey Sherrill. The court's 3 liberal justices, the dissenting justices, concluded, quote, whatever the exact scope of the coming laws, one result of today's decision is certain: the curtailment of women's rights and of their status as free and equal citizens. Hell hath no fury like a woman has been made in the eyes of this country as a second-class citizen. And for those of you not standing with us with allies, may the odds be forever not in your favor, because we are coming for you and your representatives in the midterm elections. Thank you very much.
My name is Rabbi Ali Klein. I am really honored to be here representing the South Orange and Maplewood Jewish community and Temple Sheri Tefillo, Israel. This is not just a matter of policy. This is about people and people's lives. And so I was asked to share one person's story. In 2018, I was just under 20 weeks pregnant when my husband and I received the devastating news that the fetus that I was carrying had severe spina bifida. If born, The doctors told us there was a limited chance that it would survive, and if it did, it would grow to be a person with debilitating mental and physical challenges, never able to walk, to use the bathroom independently, or learn the skills needed for an independent and fulfilling life. As deeply painful as it was, there was little debate about what we would do. Quickly and through many tears, we determined that I would terminate my pregnancy, that I would have an abortion. I was connected with a local doctor, a specialist who performed abortions in the second trimester, who performed my procedure with care and precision, enabling me to recover fully and go on to delivering 2 healthy, amazing kids just over a year later. And now, 3 years later still, the world has changed. And as they say, just because you see the truck coming doesn't mean it doesn't hurt when it hits you. Thank God that we in New Jersey retained the protected right to choose, though it should be noted that we have not done nearly enough to make reproductive health care, including abortions, available in a just and equitable way, covered fully by all insurance providers. But this is not just about New Jersey. This is about women and pregnant persons across our country who are told today that this is not our choice to make and that our lives are not our own. Look at me, look at my family, and tell me that I am not fit to make decisions about my own body. Say it to my face that someone else knows better than I do what I need. One who would dare to say so is not pro-life. They are anti-choice, they are anti-woman, and they are anti-justice. We are strong. We are devastated. We are devastated, but we are strong, and we are going to together collect all of the jagged shards of our broken hearts, and we are going to fight this. We will fight for ourselves, for our families, for our country, and we will especially fight for women living in states with trigger laws, for women with far less privilege than we have in this community. As a Jew, I am proud that as a Jew, I come from a religious tradition that teaches that a fetus is not considered to have the status of personhood until birth, and that if the pregnant person's life is at risk, understood as their physical life or their psychological and emotional life, if those things will be at risk by carrying a pregnancy to term, Judaism says that we are obligated to end the pregnancy to preserve a pregnant person's life. To prevent me from exercising my right to choose as an infringement on Jewish belief and on my ability to freely practice my religion, a right I believe is still protected by the Constitution. Look at me, I dare you to call me a murderer. Look at me and tell me that I am not capable of knowing what is best for me and my family. And know that we, all of us, will be staring back at you with steely resolve that the anti-choice movement will not win, not today, not ever. We will amplify the whisper networks. We will summon our collective resources. We will fight and we will vote. Yeah. Today we will mourn. Today we will mourn, but we will not despair, because we will channel our righteous anger into action. This is not over, Clarence Thomas. This is not over, Neil Gorsuch and Samuel Alito and Amy Coney Barrett, and this is definitely not over, Brett Kavanaugh. We will hold these supposed justices accountable for this grave act of injustice. We, the people, will have the last word, and we will choose. Get out of our way.
Thank you, Rabbi Alexandra. Thank you. And now, because she could not leave Washington, D.C., she has a vote. We're going to hear from your Congresswoman, Mikey Sherrill, on the phone.
Okay, got you on speaker. All right. Can everybody hear?
Hi everyone. I just wanted to call and to say how happy I am to see everyone coming out. This is the second group I've talked to tonight. People are coming out across New Jersey and across the nation to show how deeply incensed we are that in this country that's always stood up for our rights, we are seeing these rollbacks by a court that has become extreme and political. So I just want to promise to all of you that I won't stop fighting to protect all of us, to protect all of our kids, and to protect all of our grandkids. And thank you all so much for showing how important this is to you. Thanks so much for coming out tonight.
Our next speaker is your representative at the state level and someone I truly admire, Representative Assemblywoman Meyer.
Thank you. Wow, this is a great view. I will be brief, but that does not mean that this is not something that I will continue to work on. The day we have awaited with dread has arrived. Roe v. Wade, the cornerstone of our fundamental rights to privacy, autonomy over our bodies, and reproductive choice, is no more. Unlike our sisters in 23 states for whom abortion is now outlawed, New Jersey women will continue to enjoy the protections of Roe because we work together to codify Roe into statute. The Reproductive Freedom of Choice Act, signed into law in January, codified all existing reproductive rights into state law, including access to contraceptives and the right to terminate a pregnancy. We knew at the time that important provisions of the bill were excluded, and that is why I introduced the Reproductive Freedom Access Bill. This fight has just begun. We must strengthen our existing law to make sure that all women in our state have full, available access to quality reproductive services. The only way to accomplish this is to expand access. We must remove the financial barriers to obtaining contraception and prenatal services, including abortion. Access cannot be dependent upon the size of a paycheck or one's immigration status. Private insurance companies must be required to provide mandatory reproductive services for all women with no out-of-pocket costs. This is not about promoting abortions. We stand together to protect the right of all women to make what is likely the most difficult and important decision of their lives and their bodies, and they must be free from government interference. We will protect New Jersey's abortion providers and be a sanctuary state for all women seeking access to a service. On a personal note, I have spent more than 50 years fighting for a woman's right to choose. My college graduation was this year. 50 years I've been out. And for 50 years, this has been an issue. I cannot believe that from 1968 until now, we are still debating this issue. It's not right. Without access, there is no equity. Equity demands access. Access is a moral imperative. We won't go back, ever.
Thank you, Assemblywoman Margaret Casey. And now we will hear from Newark Mayor Roz Baraka.
Thank you. I want to thank always the invitation to come up and be a part of what I think is always an incredible gathering and fight for progressive issues and values, what I think are real American and democratic values, and it's a pleasure to be here today. I could get up here and everybody's going to talk so eloquently about what just took place, the violent and repressive action of the United States Supreme Court and the people that support them. The same folks that will tell you that they're trying to protect life, but do not have the courage to protect 10-year-olds and 9-year-olds in schools. These are the same people who say they want to protect life, but when life is born, refuse to make sure that they give them the needs and the quality to have a good life. Opportunity for food and clothing and shelter and equity. These are the same people that deny people education, that deny people opportunity. The same folks. We don't have to talk about these people because we know who they are. We know what they look like. We know what they sound like all of the time. They're opposed to democracy. They're opposed to equality. They're opposed to all of the things that matter and value to us. And they would rather control women's bodies. They would rather control women's reproductive rights. They would rather do those things than give you the opportunity to make choices on your own, to allow this country to be democratic, to be free, to be equal. They would rather do those things because it keeps them in power. Right. And so my assignment today really is not to talk about them, but us. Because us is what matters now. Somebody told me a couple of days ago that we're always talking about they and them. And they and them are always up to something. And now we have to start talking about us and we, because us and we don't get blamed for things, because us and we are hiding while they and them are doing all the things they have no business doing. And so I want to talk about us and we today. What are we going to do today? What are we going to do? And so that means elections matter. Voting matters. And our relatives, as we talk about how progressive New Jersey is, we can make sure it remains progressive, but we have to call our relatives all over the country and make sure they're fighting for the same things we're fighting for. Even if we have to take buses to other cities across the country, then that's what we should be doing to support our brothers and sisters all over the country. We have to put aside our petty differences and stop chipping away at our own selves and chip away at the real power that is ruling this country, that is pushing us further and further and further to the right. As we wake up, they push us further and further and further to the right. So it's time for us to unite with each other, put our differences aside, and understand that our struggles are the same. That the same people who struggle for union rights in Harlan County, in Kentucky, are the same people who struggle for voting rights in Mississippi. That our struggles in Newark for housing and health care are the same struggles that people fight for in South Orange and in Maplewood. Those struggles are the same. Health care is a right for all Americans, especially women. And as we fight We fight to overturn what they have just overturned. As we fight to push back against them, let's make sure we fight for it collectively. No matter our language, no matter our nationality, no matter our gender or our race, every American that believes in democracy, that believes in equality, should stand up and fight for women's right to choose today. God bless you.
Executive Director of the ACLU.
What's up, everybody? My name is Olson. I'm the Executive Director of the ACLU of New Jersey. I just want to say that we got your back. The ACLU is going to be here no matter what. I was on a phone call today with my colleagues across the country. I heard about people in Kentucky who were sitting in waiting rooms when they heard that they could no longer get the health care that they needed. They were sitting in waiting rooms hearing about the ban on abortion that was triggered in their states as soon as the decision was published by the Supreme Court. I was on the phone with colleagues across the country who told me that they were afraid of armed protesters coming into their tables, into their offices, because of what they were standing up for. It's a scary world, and it became all that more scarier this morning when we heard in a concurring opinion from Clarence Thomas that it's not just abortion that they're coming after. They're coming after love. They're coming after same-sex marriage. They're coming after the right to contraception. And if you think that they're just settling for overturning Roe versus Wade, no. They're going for a federal abortion ban altogether. And let me tell you, I'm so grateful to live in a state like New Jersey where the right to an abortion is protected. And thank you to Assembly members and senators like Meyer who were on the forefront of making that happen. But let me tell you, the right to an abortion in New Jersey wasn't in legislation until January of this year. And even in New Jersey, it was an uphill battle to get our leaders to say the word abortion. It is certainly not done in New Jersey. We have so much more to do. And I'm going to shout out Meyer again because of the good work that she is leading to make sure that abortion is not just a word on a paper that we have a right to, but rather it is equally accessible for all. And I'm talking about women all over the state, all over the country, people who can get pregnant that choose to come to New Jersey to make sure that they can get the health care that they deserve and that they can afford because it is covered by insurance, it's affordable by all, it does not depend on your immigration status. We want to see that future in New Jersey. I was on the phone with my colleagues across the country this morning who were telling me that they were ready to file lawsuit after lawsuit in states across the country to make sure that for whatever time we can, we preserve the right to an abortion because we know that every minute counts, every day counts. If we can get people into the clinics that they need to get to, every moment matters. And let me tell you, we're not just in it for the ACLU, we're in there with Planned Parenthood, we're there with all of the abortion providers all over the country. We're there to make sure that abortion funds are robust, that they are able to provide the services that they provide. So I'm encouraging you to donate to your local abortion fund. Make sure you go to the ACLUNJ.org to look up where you can donate because we have that resource on our website. And I'm telling you that there is going to be a fight ahead. Look, the fight to overturn Roe versus Wade didn't happen overnight. They were setting up for 50 years. They were stacking courts, finding judges, finding plaintiffs, strategically figuring out who needs to be in power at the local level, at the federal level, and at every level in between. They were figuring out what stories they needed to tell in order to get the right stories before the right justices, before the right Supreme Court. And our solution to it is not going to be overnight either. I'm in this for the long haul if you are. I'm in it for the long haul because I know that the right to same-sex marriage didn't happen overnight. I know that the right to love whoever you want to, regardless of your race, didn't happen overnight. And let me be clear, the decision today is not just anti-abortion, it's pro-white supremacy. We know who is disproportionately impacted by bad health care in this country. The maternal mortality rate for black women is terrible in this country. And let's be clear, people are going to die as a result of today's decision. People are going to die because of what was an intellectual exercise by some Supreme Court justices who think that they can decide what it means to be human in our society. But we know better. We know what it means to be human. We know what it means to have dignity. We know what it means to be an American. It certainly does not say in the Constitution, equal protection for some. It says equal protection for all. So I'm standing here with my friends and colleagues up here, with all of you, to say the ACLU is not going to sleep until we get equal protection and justice for all. Thank you.
And Uplift Row also is set about all healthcare access, the housing crisis, and exposure to community violence because they all oppress gender minorities and have a well-researched deleterious impact on sexual and reproductive health. We do not look to the court systems for permission or validation. Dismantling systematic misogyny, sexual violence, anti-blackness, and white supremacy. Our liberation cannot be legislated. And while grief is a communal act, so is resistance. Beyond this moment, reproductive justice is a movement fueled by the power of the collective. We will not back down. Policy, organizing, and mutual aid are all essential to ensure that in another 50 years, our children are not having the same fight to recognize their basic human rights. For 18 years, New Voices has been organizing to build power in our communities. So no matter what any court or elected official decides, we will continue working to ensure that all people have the information, resources, and power they need to feel safe, affirmed, and whole. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay, thank you so much. All right, next up, please welcome at-large council member from the Working Families Party, Kendra Brooks.
Joy, solidarity, and unity is a form of resistance. I want to say good afternoon. I'm Councilmember Kendra Brooks. And I'm pissed. Today, me and my team start day celebrating the work that we have done this with this. But I refuse to allow racist, white supremacists, men, misogynists spoil our joy. And as we stand out here today in solidarity, I want us to remember one thing: is strength in numbers. And I'm also a woman that has had an abortion. I've told my story several times over the last year in a way that I've never had to before. But I did it as a way to show women, together we are strong. And my story may not be your same story, but our shared stories are why we stand here today, unified to say, hell no. The Supreme Court is destroying our fundamental right to an abortion, and we know that is an attack on all of us. This is an attack on working class, on women, on black and brown people. It is an attack on our rights, our agency, and our independence. And the attack won't stop here. This is not the end of the beginning of a long of our freedom and our dignity. And we can't back down now. Everything is at stake. We know that this decision won't stop abortions, but it will make it harder for many people without the means to travel or already struggling to make ends meet. What we know is while abortion is still legal here in Pennsylvania, right-wing lawmakers and judges are working hard. That's why we can't stop fighting. We can't stop rallying. We just can't stop. We need to elect people at all levels who will codify abortion rights into law. We need to support abortion clinics and mobilize our communities. What we know is abortion is a fundamental right. It is a that shapes a person's life, and everyone should have control over the choices that define their lives. All people deserve over their bodies and their futures. We're fighting for a world where we all have the freedom to control our destiny, and to safely care for our family and live with dignity and pride. So it's time to get organized and to show up for each other. We all have what we need. We care for each other. We will continue to support one another through mutual aid, through organizing, and through creating networks of support. We won't let shady politicians take away our joy. We will protect health for our basic rights.
Oh yeah. We're gonna do that.
And we will show up in these streets until we have the freedoms that we are owed. This is about abortion reproductive health care. We demand Medicare for all and housing as a human right. We demand workers' rights and immigration reform. We demand climate justice and fully funded public education. The hateful politicians and the extremists who try to silence us and limit us. And I vow to keep fighting alongside of you until we build the city, the state, and the country that we deserve. Working people can do more than just survive, but we can thrive.
In office. So let's get loud today. Let's get active tomorrow. Let's stay active. Let's keep fighting until we win.
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Meyer. I'm the founder of the New Jersey Women's March. And in 2017, we were angry and we took to the streets. And tonight, we are even more angry and we are here and we are not going anywhere. I am so proud to introduce our next speaker. Just 2 weeks ago, she was in Newark, New Jersey as an organizer for March for Our Lives. And some of her co-organizers are also in the crowd here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, high school student, Maylin Rodriguez.
Can everyone hear me? First of all, hi everyone. Thank you so much for coming out today. The turnout is overwhelming, just as today is. My name is Maylin Rodriguez, she, her, and I am a 17-year-old change maker and activist for equality, equity, unity, and justice. We are here today to sound the alarm that has been going off forever and that has been silenced. Well, let me tell you, this alarm is called justice, and it will not be silenced. I was born in 2005. Roe v. Wade in 1973 protected a woman and anyone with a uterus's constitutional right to an abortion. It sent a message ensuring all Americans and all people in America who have a uterus that abortion is health care and is federally protected. Today, 5 justices who sit on the highest court of this land overturned Roe v. Wade. Over 50 years of precedent was overturned in nearly 8 months. Today, the people of our nation were put in immense danger, but the people of our nation have been in immense danger. From a baby formula shortage to mass shootings increasing in schools and the effects of gun violence filling every corner of our nation, to history books and books that show the diversity of our world being banned, to don't say gay laws. Well, let me tell you, we say gay. To oppressing LGBTQ plus individuals, to perpetuating poverty and generational trauma, to the institutionalization of racism, xenophobia, homophobia, and injustice. My family came to this country for the American dream. Well, let me tell you something. This is not the American dream. We are living in an American nightmare. My name is Meyer Rodriguez, and I am here to tell you, especially the young people, but all people, that this must change, and this will change now. We will resist in the face of adversity, because no justice means no peace. And in this so-called land of the free, who is really free when people with uteruses can't make decisions about what they do with their body without politicians and people who want money getting involved? We must continue to unite, and I am here today to tell you, like so many people have, that justice will prevail. Yeah! We are going to face adversity with unity and show the people of the United States how to do what the name says: unite. Healthcare is a human right, and abortion is healthcare. Let us fight for our rights, because no justice means no peace. Thank you.
Hey, Meyer, what office are you gonna run for? Our next speaker is Councilman James Sullivan, and he's here to tell you that this is not just about a women's issue. This is not
Walking off the job, even sitting down and occupying the job was necessary to so many of our victories on wages, benefits, and working conditions. But it hasn't always stopped there. And it doesn't have to stop with one employer. In the labor movement, of political strikes, of workers walking off the job over big issues that affect the whole us. The 8-hour day, voting rights, civil rights. The day has come again to bring these traditions for all working class families, all poor families. And this is what we need to bring to the fight against the right wing. We need walkouts and strikes in the workplaces. We need mass movements. Mass movements in the streets. And you don't have to be in the union to walk. The Amazon workers are showing us the way against the biggest, baddest bosses around. But we need millions in the streets to totally shut down the advance of the right wing. And we in the labor movement need to rise to this moment. Nurses and doctors, union and for providing health care that our patients need. And even more than that, we know that the advance of the right wing is not just about a conservative cultural agenda. If the Republicans could outlaw unions today, they would. Unions refusing to challenge the fray to win back abortion rights nationally are kidding themselves if they don't think that these two things are related
and that not pushing back on abortion gives the far right. It emboldens them and empowers them to go further. The labor movement must be a socialist feminist movement. From the labor movement, half the battle is identifying the enemy, and keep identifying the enemy. The ideology of the Republican Party enforces the subjugation of women, of people of color, of queer people. The Republican Party of Texas announced this week that their 2020 platform includes a repeal of the vote. The biggest victory of the civil rights movement that bans voting discrimination. So when politicians in the Democratic Party call these people, reach across the aisle, shake their hands, and call them colleagues, what does that mean?
They don't care about us!
The Democrats have known this was coming. 50 years, actually, right? 50 years. But the last 2 months, they really knew it was coming. They fucking knew. And they looked at the leak over Roe v. Wade and thought, what a great fundraising opportunity. That is not enough. They still could codify Roe. They still could overturn the filibuster and do it tomorrow if they wanted. Party. We need to stop giving them our millions of hard-earned money, dollars, but hours of our time. We need to forge an independent alternative alongside the millions of working-class people that support abortion rights and a real standard of living for working-class people. Representatives of a real working-class party, not to ask nicely, but to bring the threat of a working-class movement to their doorsteps. And if you're looking for inspiration, be empowered by knowing that on the day the Supreme Court draft was leaked, they were afraid that Roe might inspire opposition that could actually push back against their agenda. They know we have the power. We have to know we have the power, right? If we had the power, they wouldn't be sending
that we uplift our voices and most of those most impacted by this gut-wrenching decision, which will further exploit the systematic inequities in our society. It is about access to what before today, for the last 50 years, was a constitutional right. When all the rhetoric dies down, and this is no longer the top news story of the day, think about the women and how our lives have been changed in this country, perhaps as some would have it, forever. That's why we won't go back and we won't back down.
In New Jersey, our reproductive right to abortion is guaranteed by the Freedom of Reproductive Choice Act signed into law by Governor Murphy in January. We applaud and celebrate this important step, but we know that more action is needed. Rights without access is meaningless. There is much more to do in New Jersey to ensure that everyone, regardless of income, insurance, or immigration status, can access the care that they need. Legislation that ensures that advanced practice clinicians can continue to provide abortion care in our state, to ensure that there is enough providers to meet the increased need that we expect to see when the other states go dark. We need legislation that mandates insurance plans in New Jersey cover abortion with no cost sharing or out-of-pocket cost. And we need legislation that expands existing state programs that cover birth control and pregnancy-related care to also cover abortion services for those who face financial barriers. We need more than the right to have an abortion. We need a healthcare system that supports real access to care. That is why we call on our state legislators to meet the urgency of this moment by passing abortion access and legislation bills, Senate Bill 2918 and Assembly Bill 4350 without any delay. We celebrate elected leaders like Assemblywoman J.C., Jafer, McKnight, Assemblyman Mukugi, and Senator Ruiz, who are championing this bill. We encourage others to join. This legislation will break down those financial barriers that too many face. This is the time to stand up to these attacks and to ensure that everyone in New Jersey can afford to exercise their rights in our state. Once again, I thank you for participating in today's rally. I ask you to commit not only to abortion rights, but abortion access and justice. I ask you to commit to not just health care, but health care equity. So we are going to keep marching. We're going to keep speaking up. We're going to keep speaking out. We're going to keep working for access and justice for all. And by all means, we must vote like our lives depend on it, because it does. Take action. We won't back down, and neither will you. And finally, next week on July 4th, when the fireworks are bursting and the patriotic songs are playing, let's all ask ourselves, whose freedom and liberty are we really celebrating?
Freedom town, look up, look down. South Orange is a freedom town, look up.
If you fight the war, you lose. It's the pigs, the CEO, the developer who stops the private person's bad. The rich have always been able to get abortions, and they always will. Roe never meant much for most of us. We must invest in our community and build the power of the poor and fight by any means necessary to ensure legal abortion.
Women's rights, like those of all people, are a union issue. Health care for all is a union issue. Employers will stop paying for medically necessary abortions as a result of this decision. And in this decision, Clarence Thomas opens the door to eliminating the right to contraceptives. That's right. And employers will eliminate it from insurance coverage. This is a union issue. Marriage equality and other LGBTQIA rights are on the line. And once again, people like me who identify as LGBTQ will be at risk of being fired for how we identify or forced back into the closet. And I don't know about you, but I'm not going back. Not going back. But being with all of you here today, I'm fired up because I know we are going to stand together and fight back against this slow roll towards fascism. We're going to organize, and we're going to mobilize and make sure we get the vote out. And we're going to organize, and we're going to mobilize until our elected leaders down in Washington make Roe versus Wade and marriage equality the law of the land. No justice. No justice. No peace. No justice. No peace. Thank you.
I'm here again to introduce a fellow board member on the League of Women Voters and the president of Lupe Fund. And when I called her for her strong voice again, she said, "Oh, what do you want me to speak on?" And she said, is it about the hearings and the insurrection? No. Is it about gun control? No, it's not that. Is it about voter suppression and subversion? No. It's about the removal of the equal rights of half of our United States. Here is Yvette Mascara.
Thank you, Debbie. There's too much crap going on, right? All right, so I'm gonna do half of my speech for my Latinos in Spanish. Mujeres, buenas tardes, mujeres. Somos mujeres empoderadas, educadas, fuertes, resilientes. No dejemos que nadie tome decisiones por nuestro cuerpo. La decisión de hoy afecta no solo a nuestras hijas, hermanas, nietas y más, sino a nuestros hijos varones. Yo quisiera que en un futuro mis nueras puedan tomar la importante decisión de tener un hijo con el papá del niño, su doctor. Valoremos y respetemos la privacidad de la mujer, el derecho de la mujer, la vida de la mujer, para que ella pueda tomar la mejor decisión con su familia. Esta mala decisión de hoy no toma en cuenta la salud de nuestras mujeres ni el bienestar de los niños. Nosotros creemos en proteger la vida de todos y todas. Lo que sucedió hoy es en contra de los derechos del ser humano para obtener cuidado médico que sea digno y accesible. Hablemos con nuestros maridos, novios, novias, hijos, familiares, para que se unan a esta causa que nos afecta a todos. No seamos indolentes, porque de poco en poco nos están quitando derechos como mujeres, como seres humanos, como residentes, ciudadanos de este país. Nos merecemos mejor. Tenemos que actuar y pelear por nuestros derechos. Mujeres. Women, we are empowered, educated, strong, resilient women. Let's not let anyone make decisions for our bodies. My body, my choice. Say it with me, my body. My choice. Today's decision affects not only our daughters, sisters, granddaughters, and more, but also our sons. I have 2 boys. I would like that in the future, my daughters-in-law can make the important decision of having a child with their father and make a decision with their doctor. We value and respect a woman's privacy, a woman's right, a woman's life, so that she can make the best decision with and for her family. This terrible, terrible decision today does not take into account the health of women or the well-being of children. We believe in protecting everyone's life. What happened today is against the rights of women, human beings, to obtain dignified and safe and accessible medical care. Women, let's talk to our husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends, children, relatives, so that they join this cause that affects us all. Let's not be complacent, because little by little they're taking away our rights as women, as human beings, residents, citizens of this state and country. We deserve better. We have to act now. We need to fight like hell for our rights. Finally, let's vote for people who will stand up for our rights, for the rights of all women and children. It has never been more important that we pay attention to our local elections. Please encourage your families, your circle of influence to get out there and vote. We have to keep this anger, this energy going and do something about it. We can do it. Thank you to everyone who is here together working to make this democracy much better than it is now. Thank you.
My name is Jamie Thal. I'm here today on behalf of Soma Action. My name is Jamie Thal, and I'm here today on behalf of Soma Action. And thank you for coming out.
Here at Columbia High School, right in Maplewood. The Third Amendment is often heralded as the least relevant amendment in the U.S. The quartering of soldiers hasn't been an issue for hundreds of years, so it obviously has no bearing on today, correct? No. Well, our founding fathers didn't just want us to be free from quartering for no reason.